Hi everybody and welcome to your full moon in Sagittarius horoscopes for the month of June. The full moon in Sagittarius is coming up at 13 degrees of this mutable fire sign, and it will be on the 3rd or the 4th of June depending on where you are in the world. In the UK, looking at my notes, the full moon in Sagittarius will be taking place at 4:41 a.m. So adjust for wherever you are on the planet, as this will affect the houses on the house placements of the full moon for you. So the full moon in Sagittarius, what does this mean for us? Sagittarius is ruled by the sign of Jupiter, and when we think about the symbolism of Jupiter, this is the planet that expands, it emphasizes, it swells, it can go over the top, it's very enthusiastic, it's very infectious. I don't know how you find it, but whenever I'm around a Sagittarian energy, so a strong Sagittarius sun or moon or rising, I find that their energy is just infectious. I find it really fires me up. So energetically, this is it's, because it is a fire sign, like I said, it's a mutable fire sign. Fire likes action and passion and comes from the heart, it just acts and does. And Sagittarius is the archer. So this is the adventurer, someone who likes to go out and fire the arrow of adventure and just see where the journey takes you. Sagittarius is about the journey, not the destination. So what can you learn along the way? Thinking about Sagittarius being like a Camino. I always think of Paulo Coelho when I think of Sagittarius. I don't know what his chart is. I should have looked it up, but it's just come to me, so it wasn't in the plans. So sorry, I think I need to wash my hair. That's why I'm like, oh God. I put the ring light on now and I'm like, whoa, I can see it all. So I think of his books. Is it The Alchemist? Where, it's a classic, where the main character goes on a journey of self-discovery, but is also on this long walking journey. So this Camino, this spiritual journey of starting in one place and putting one foot in front of the other and traversing all of the challenges that come along during this journey. And that's very Sagittarius. And facing the journey with passion and enthusiasm. And how many times can I say those words in this video? And a philosophical mindset, being open, because it's a mutable fire sign, it's open to change, it's open to new ideas, and open to like those deep conversations. I always think that about Sagittarius. It's like open to the idea of like, please open my mind, expand my experience of this life through new philosophies, through other cultures that I know nothing about. Let me infuse those into my life to see how I can expand my mind and just take as much out of life as I can possibly get. So because this is a full moon, in the lunation cycle, the full moon is at its most bright. There's the most amount of light that any lunation can have. Therefore, it means that there is culmination and fruition, and this could be quite an exciting time, a celebratory time. There's not any particularly negative aspects. There's also the fact that Mercury in Taurus is now out of its post-retrograde shadow phase, and therefore we can finally get moving. We're no longer covering old ground. We're traveling over that new ground on our Camino, on our journey, our life journey, and we're taking new steps, and there's new things to see, there's new information to take in, there's new people to talk to, new experiences to have, new places to discover. So this is exciting. Also in the month of June, Mercury is going to be traveling very quickly now, and it's going to zip through its home sign as well, or its domicile of Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. So this is a very comfortable place for idea exchange, communications, information. This can just be a very busy time. And I don't know about you, but the last few weeks during this post-retrograde shadow phase, with Mercury still in very solid, earthy, calm, connected Taurus, I've just wanted to be kind of with my physical surroundings. I've been very aware of my senses. You know, my sense of touch has been a lot more heightened. You know, like hugs with people have felt a lot more, what's the word? A lot more impactful. I'm not a particularly huggy person. I was having this conversation the other day with someone. I'm not a particularly huggy person, and yet I am. So like with my friends, I can be really huggy, and with my children I can be really huggy. But when it comes to like the really close, like romantic relationships, I can be a bit like, whoa, like, you know, self-defensive, I suppose. And then like every now and again I will just feel huggy, but it is so rare that it's notable in my life. So I find that interesting. I feel like that's something perhaps I've learned from this post-retrograde shadow phase. So anyway, because, just to backtrack on that, so because Taurus is connecting to our senses, so you may have found that your connection to anything sensual may have been really heightened during this post-retrograde shadow, and it's also revisiting all of the themes that we went back over during the build-up to the Mercury retrograde in Taurus. So thinking back to the weekend around about the 20th of April, Mercury had just gone retrograde at that point and was travelling back down to 5 degrees from 15 of Taurus. So look to see where 5 to 15 degrees of Taurus in your birth chart is, to see if it's connecting to any planets. Therefore, that might have been more of a emphasised transit for you. Also look to see which birth chart house it's falling in for you. You know, is it in your 11th house of groups? Is it in your 5th house of children? Is it in your 2nd house of personal resources and self-value? Is it in your 8th house of other people's resources and other people's esteem for you? And have a little look and a little idea, a little play. I need to calm down. Just had another coffee. Maybe it was a bad idea. I'm also trying to fit this video in before my children come home, having had a whole day child-free. I feel like we've got so much done. And the moon is in Libra, and me and my partner, me and my husband, have been decorating things in the house, literally painting. I can't tell you the last time I painted. And again, this is for me, a really sensual experience. The idea of paintbrush, you know, I was painting a bookshelf. Really beautiful colour that I love, and painting it on. I haven't painted for years, definitely since before having children, and my eldest is nearly 5 now. And when I was younger, it was all about the home decoration, and it was all about designing my bedroom and doing things in the house that were like, you know, there was always a creative project going on. And I was doing textiles at school and college and fashion and art, and I was always doing those things. So for me, this Taurus, and not forgetting that Jupiter is in Taurus now, and so this post-retrograde shadow of Mercury in Taurus, moving back from 5 through to 15 of Taurus, has been really heightened by Jupiter. And then thinking about the fact that Jupiter in Taurus is our host for this full moon in Sagittarius, and so it is expanding our idea of Venus, because of Venus ruling Taurus. So the idea of what is aesthetically pleasing to us, what gives us value, where do we connect with one another. It can be in a social way, but more of a kind of one-to-one relationship, that romantic relationship way. Where do we find value in our relationships? What are we getting from them? And as we move through this full moon in Sagittarius, you know, Mercury is beyond that point, so it's making these new leaps and bounds, and Jupiter is being like, yes, come on, let's expand our experience of anything sensual, anything connected to nature and the earth and our material possessions and our relationship to sensuality, which is this journey we'll be going on. and traversing for the next 12 months. So it's a really exciting one. So I really like this full moon in terms of really connecting to our sense of self-worth and our resources and connecting to nature. And it's a nice time of year in the Northern Hemisphere to be getting outside and exploring and expanding our philosophies and our experience of life. So we'll just go quickly through the horoscopes. So Aries rising, this full moon in Sag will be taking place in your 9th house of higher learning, philosophy, long distance travel. This is also, what's the word? Yeah, it's the house of dreams. That's what I wanted to say. So you might find that this area of life is being emphasized and expanded and exciting for you in this very like enthusiastic, opportunity rich full moon in Sagittarius. Taurus rising, this will be taking place in your 8th house of other people's esteem, how other people give value, how you give other people a sense of like your worth. So when I always find it hard to unpack the idea of like other people's esteem, but it's like where you are well regarded by other people, and this is a full moon in that house, so it could be a really fantastic time where people are kind of bestowing their gifts upon you. And full moon in Sagittarius, this can be like rich cultural gifts from all over the world. This can be cooking you a really nice meal from another country. This could be taking you on a trip to another, this could be like, being gifted a trip abroad somewhere that expands your mind and expands your experience of life. So I really like this one for Taurus risings. Gemini rising, this will be taking place in your 7th house of one-to-one relationships, marriage partners, business partners, just the place where we kind of work on a one-to-one basis with other people. Close friendships can also live here. So I like this one as a celebration of, where you've been working hard to really kind of connect with somebody else and have fun with somebody else. Cancer risings, this will be happening in our sixth house. That's really hard to say. In 6th house of daily routines. It's a bit drudgery. It can be a bit dull, but it's kind of like shining a full moonlight on the things that we have to do daily to take care of our bodies. So maybe we're thinking about instilling a new exercise regime, taking on a new kind of perspective from herbal medicines, and we're going to start importing herbal medicines into our daily sense of well-being for ultimately like supporting our daily living, because the 6th house is all about daily living and the kind of routines that we instill. Leo rising, this will be taking place in your 5th house of friends, children. This could be quite an exciting one for you if you have young children. Time to kind of play and really share some philosophical ideas with them, show them to the world, introduce them to exciting new spiritual beliefs, or share your experience of astrology with your child, age depending. Children are so open to things that this could be a really exciting time to start sharing some of your passions with them. And I think if you're watching this channel, then you probably are into astrology, and astrology is a very it's a very Sagittarian subject because it is philosophical and spiritual, and it connects many of these themes, and it's traveled across the whole world. Like the history of astrology it connects every corner of the world together as one, and I really like that. I think that's quite a Sagittarian idea. It's also, if children aren't in your life, then it's a very creative house, the 5th house. So fruition of creative projects coming full circle. Maybe you're working on a creative project that you want to use to kind of sell something. So maybe you're making some bags and you want to sell them. The full moon in Sagittarius is a good time to kind of get photos taken and get them out there online. And maybe creatively putting them into an environment that inspires this idea of how these bags are going to enrich your experience of spirituality and philosophy. Maybe it's an astrology bag and it's got, you know, each star sign on it, and it's just the right size for your ephemeris that you can slip in there. Great photo shoot idea, you know. The world's your oyster. It really is, like, exciting times. Virgo rising, this will be falling in your 4th house of home and kind of literal living space, but more so family and ancestral environment. And this is a time to be looking at you know, how you can be having fun with your family, you know, your kind of, you know, your ancestral line. Can you be, you know, meeting up with grandparents, aunties, uncles, something like this, and sharing in a kind of party time? This is a really nice one to do. Are you doing like a home warming for a family member, and you're there and you're the one that's, you know, like bursting the balloons, and you're the organizer for it? You know, you're organizing the whole event, and you're making sure that you've got the champagne in, and you've got the snacks and the nibbles, and that everyone's going to be having a nice time. Yeah, I like that one for Virgo risings. Libra rising, this will be taking place in your 3rd house of local environment. So this is much more connected to the living environment, your neighbours, your daily space that you take up, that you spend time in. And with Sag in your 3rd house, this is, you know, importing themes of philosophy, travel, spirituality and dreams into your living environment. It's like all of those things are, you know, are a drug for you, and you need to take that daily dose of different cultures just to kind of, you know, keep yourself grounded in a way, in a very kind of ungrounded way. But surrounding yourself with like the colours and the textures and the smells and the tastes of countries, you know, far, far away, and importing those into your life to kind of see how they fit for your own living environment, and celebrating that as well. Scorpio risings, this will be in your 2nd house of self-worth and personal finances. This is an exciting time to be celebrating the fact that there is something about spirituality, teaching, philosophy that can feed into your daily finances, feed into the way that you feel really good about yourself. And it's like maybe you take on some new health regime that you discovered when you were on like a backpacking trip in Bali in like your early 20s, and now you're reaching your 40s and you're like, okay, how can I import that philosophy into my life? Because I really see how it supports me and my sense of self-worth, and it is a part of me. Sagittarius rising, this will be taking place in your 1st house, so this is exciting. This is kind of like, who am I now? Checking in with yourself. Am I still, my beliefs still the same, or have they changed? And how have they changed the way that I look and the way that I think and my outlook on life? Is it still connected to the person that I was 12 months ago when we had the last full moon in Sagittarius, or has it changed? Have I had a haircut, or have I braided my hair, or, you know, have I completely changed my clothes? I've chucked out all of my black clothes and I just wear colours now, and you know, the more kind of the stronger colour palette I can get, and you can tell I've been painting, can't you, because it's like I'm so inspired by colour. The more colours that I can get into my daily life, how does this feel? You know, does it change the way that I see the world? If I wear pink, do I feel better about myself? Do I feel more enthusiastic? If I wear green, do I feel calm and serene and, you know, ready to connect with nature more? So something along those lines. The physical body as well, paying attention to your thighs in particular and your hips. This is a Sagittarius part of the body. And how do they feel? Are they all feeling okay, or have I noticed any niggles that I might want to get checked out by somebody, by a health professional? Capricorn rising, this will be taking place in your 12th house of, can sometimes come about as illness, or just a kind of an opportunity for rest and respite, and it often takes us into a spiritual place, because when we've got time to rest and time away from society, which is often the 12th house, you know, it can give us that kind of moment of reflection that we've been longing for, that we haven't had the chance to address because we've been so busy in daily life, and now we have that time for just self-reflection and taking in new spiritual ideas. Aquarius rising, this is in your 11th house of groups. This is a very exciting one. So maybe groups, you know, online groups across the world. Maybe that's something that you're working on at the moment, something that you're a part of. Maybe you've got a new class starting, a new spiritual class, a new philosophical class. Maybe you're teaching a new class, and you are getting out there in the world, and you are being, you know, lit up and on display for the world to see, and it's exciting, and it's feeding your soul as much as it's feeding your students' souls. And finally, Pisces rising, this will be taking place in your 10th house of work, success, publicity and career. So in your 10th house, this is exciting. This is showing up and being welcomed as an enthusiastic, jovial, exciting teacher and wise sage. And with Jupiter in Taurus right now as well, there might be something here connected with working with nature, or working with the material world, and helping other people, you know, see their own sense of philosophy through the work that you do, and being recognised for being, what's the word, for being a really passionate, exciting person to be around, and being a very open person to be around, and very welcoming and encompassing of other cultures and life at large. So I really hope that you've found these horoscopes helpful. I will be back soon for another video. Things that I am currently involved in is that I am currently available for readings in the month of June and July. The booking system is on my website, which is freyaastrology.com, so take a look on there. If you'd like to book in for a one-to-one reading, I do natal chart readings and solar return readings. Natal chart is more about your kind of characteristics as just who you are on a kind of soul level, and then the solar return looks at your year ahead and the transits and the way that the kind of fates of the world are working to bring your year ahead into the light. I have no more live events booked in at the moment, but I am thinking that at the live events I've done this year, I have been giving mini readings. So these are slightly less, financially less than booking in for a whole hour's consultation with me. And it's a really good way of getting a snippet or a taster for an astrology reading without committing to the full 1 hour. So these readings can be 20 or 30 minutes, and I'm thinking about offering maybe one day a month where I can either come online and welcome people into a space, or maybe just book up a batch of sessions. So maybe on a Saturday once a month, I'm going to open up for mini readings. So it's a really great way if you're in a different country and you couldn't make it to any of the live events, but you'd really like to try an astrology reading, then this is the one for you. So it will be £20 for a 20-minute reading and £30 for a 30-minute reading, and we can get quite a lot into there, especially if you're specific about areas of life that you want to look at. Accurate birth time is essential for that one, so that we can really dive in. But it's also a really great way if you've been thinking about getting a reading with me for a while now, but you haven't quite got the finances. This is a really affordable way to access astrology. So let me know in the comments if you're at all interested in that. I haven't set a date for that yet, but I am on the brink of doing so and announcing it across my social media channels. I'm doing some classes in June as well, which are fully booked, but I will be running more of those as the months go on this year. And I will also be doing putting some self-paced learning onto my website so that you can log in and access the learning in your own time, and you can also contact me via a social space that I will check in with a couple of times a week as well if you've got any questions as well, and that's all part of the package that you will get online, but I haven't uploaded those yet, so those aren't available yet, but that's what's coming up in the future. So I think that's all my announcements. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll speak to you again soon. Have a wonderful full moon in Sagittarius.